Hey, it's Brian from FXBilliards. Today I'm going to give you the most common mistakes players make when trying to play position, whether it's 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball, straight pool, you name it. These are the mistakes that players make. I'm going to make these examples as elementary as I can and give you some very simple examples. These are the ones that are most common, so let's get going. This is probably number one. That is, most amateur players, not some, the majority, I don't care if you're APA 6, the majority of amateur players are hitting the balls too hard. You do not need to slam this ball to get position. The reason you're hitting the ball too hard on your draw shots, on your follow shots, has nothing to do with your equipment. It's where you're hitting the ball. If you hit this follow shot at the very top of the ball, let me repeat that, at the very top of the ball, regardless of the cloth that you're playing on, you do not need to slam it to move this ball up 2 feet. You're hitting the ball too hard. Practice hitting the ball at 50% of what you think you need to hit it, and you're going to see an improvement. And then you can start making adjustments from there. The difference between this shot where I want the cue ball to stop here and a shot where I want the cue ball to come all the way down table is not where I'm hitting the cue ball. If you hit the cue ball at the very top, then you will get down table without a lot of effort. You're not hitting the cue ball high enough when you shoot a follow shot, and you're not hitting it low enough when you shoot a draw shot, because the difference here is simply miles per hour. That's the difference in stopping here and stopping there. Next reason, and kind of related to reason number one, having an unrealistic expectation of what you can do and also unrealistic expectations of what is actually possible on a pool table are both causing you position mistakes. Here's an example. You have to play the 5-ball and get on the 2-ball, and you want to play the 2-ball in the side pocket. And in your mind, if you hit this soft enough, you can hold it up. I always hear people, I'm going to hold it up for the 2-ball. Well, this is what holding it up looks like. This is softer than anyone you know is hitting balls. And that's the position. If you have a thin cut, I'm going to give you the math real quick if you're not familiar with it. If you have a thin cut, and you are only hitting the ball at 10%. So what is 10%? If I'm shooting this ball straight in the pocket, that's 100%. It's going to stop if I hit it below center. It's going to stop a little bit and then roll forward if I hit it above center. That's 100%. If I hit a half ball, sending this part of my cue ball to 1/2 of the object ball, a half ball hit, as you might have heard it called, if I do that, half the speed, again, let's use 4 miles an hour as a reference, half the speed is going to be scrubbed off. I'm going to go from 4 miles an hour to a ball that's moving at 2 miles an hour. Now, this cut shot, if I'm coming here and I'm hitting less than 10% of this ball, guess what happens on my 2 mile an hour shot? It's still moving pretty close to 2 miles an hour. There's no holding this up. So don't have unrealistic expectations about what's possible. Shoot enough thin cuts so that you understand that even on the crappiest, worst cloth that you've ever played on, even on carpet, you cannot hold up for this ball. Stop having unrealistic expectations of what can happen. Next item, and these are very closely related. You're playing the wrong shot. If I cut this in the side pocket, which a lot of you can pull off, a lot of relative beginners can cut this ball thin enough to play it in the side pocket, but that's not the correct shot. Just because it's close, just because you have the ability to cut it in the side, doesn't mean you cut it in the side and let your cue ball go nuts hoping that you get on the 2-ball. If you want to get on this 2-ball, there's only one shot. You're going to play the 5-ball in the corner pocket. There's your stop shot. You think I almost scratched? If you shoot a stop shot from here, the ball is hardly past the pocket. If I shoot a stop shot from here, I am going to hit the edge of this corner or back here each and every time. This is going to be your shot. Now, there are angles. I'm going to give this to the 4 or 5 people that are going nuts right now. No, 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 you can scratch there. That's what they sound like in my head when I read their comments. This shot, the cue ball is going to scratch. Why? Because the one ball is beyond the halfway point of this pocket. There's only one place for it to go if I shoot a stun shot, and that's in this pocket. But at the same time, you cannot cut this ball in the side pocket because it's all the way up here. It would literally have to go backwards, and you're not going to be able to do that. So when it is a scratch shot, it's a scratch shot, but you couldn't make it in the side anyway. But in this case, yes, you will scratch. So there are certain angles, and as long as this ball is on this side of the center of this pocket, if you put a draw stroke or a stop stroke, it is going to look the same each and every time. Each and every time you're on that ball. We have entire videos that will help you identify scratch shots. But in the meantime, let's go to the next item, which is related to this. The reason your position play is compromised is because you don't know where the cue ball is going after you shoot a shot in. Yes, you got all these gimmicks, all of these things. Stop it. Stop it, guys. Stop it. The 30-degree rule only applies if you hit a rolling ball. I'm not going to get into the difference between a rolling ball and a stun shot, and I'm not going to get into that other than the fact that a rolling ball means I hit it above center, it hits this ball, and it doesn't have any additional topspin or backspin on it. And the tangent line only applies if you hit what would have been a perfect stop shot, but at an angle. One, your position play is compromised because you're standing there going like this, trying to figure out a tangent line that your ball is not going to take in the first place. Or you're trying to find a rolling ball, and did that ever work for you? Did it ever? So now that I told you to get away from the gimmicks, how do you learn where the balls are going to go? How do you learn that if you play that 2-ball with left-hand English, it's going to come down here to this pocket? How do you know that if I play this 2-ball from here with a stun shot, I'm going to scratch? Or, even better, how do I make it break up that cluster? How do I get down on this shot and know that if I do this, I'm going to break up that cluster? Reps, because the way we learn that that ball is going to hit those balls or that ball is going to scratch is putting in reps. I hate to break the bad news to you, but many cases the difference between you as maybe an APA 4 and the APA 6, in many cases it is that 6 has put in a few thousand more reps than you have, so they have a better idea of where they're going with those shots. The only way to accelerate the process in not doing a gazillion reps is with professional instruction, because I can tell you exactly how to get over there in a shorter period of time than you shooting it 1,000 times. Your opponent has made all of their balls, and you have this very elementary pattern. We have a makeable 5-ball, a makeable 3-ball, a makeable 7-ball, and the 2 is the only one that we can't make from where we are. You have ball in hand. Your opponent just scratched. They made their ball and they scratched and they left you with this. How do you run your balls off the table? One of the reasons you're not running out, one of the reasons there's a problem with your position play is because you're playing the wrong balls in the wrong order. If you have a game, if you've got a lot of things in the bag, there's a number of ways to run these balls. If you are an intermediate or low intermediate player, These balls should be shot in a very specific order. We should shoot that 5, the 3, the 7, and then the 2, which will put us on the 8. In any other order, you have to do something special to get out. I shot one little stun shot there. Everything else was a follow shot. Every other shot, every one of you watching this could perform. Look for patterns where you can shoot stop shots and follow shots. Look for those patterns. Those of you that are more advanced and you're still having trouble with your patterns, do this one thing. This is one trick, and that is pretend there was a timeout and an APA 3 said, what should I do here? You should shoot the same pattern that they're going to shoot you. In the same category is not breaking up clusters. You guys aren't playing good position because you don't have enough shots on the table. That sounds weird, right? You're trying to get balls off the table. You don't have enough shots on the table because you're not breaking up clusters. If you're not breaking up clusters, I don't want you on my team. And I know some of you have coaches that say, oh, well, you're solids. Let him break up that cluster for you. I got news for you. Myself or any of my students that I can think of, if we break up that cluster, you've lost already. You've lost because we've eliminated the problem that we have. If you're not going to fix the problem, we're going to fix the problem or create a new problem for you. But let's look at what happens if you're smart enough to break up this cluster. You shoot the 3 ball, which if you've been doing your homework, you know that it leads to the cluster. And now you have a 7 ball that's makeable, you have a 2 ball that's makeable, and if you do play the 7 to the 2, you're almost automatic on the 8. Can you see that? This 2 ball leaves you on the 8 ball. I'm going to make it even more complicated. Let's play them backwards. Let's play the 2 and then try to get on the 8. Another problem that you have with your position play. You're not playing good key balls. I talk about this probably the last 3 videos I recorded. When they're released, that's a whole different thing. But the key ball is the ball you want to play right before the 8. In this situation, the 2 ball would have been a better key ball because it naturally put me on the 8. So you might not have the tools in your bag yet that take you from the 7 to the 8, but this is how simple it is as you pick up those tools. You come down table and you can't help but be on that 8 ball, which brings us to the next item. You don't have that shot with high left-hand English to come off of 3 rails, but you're shooting it. You're using English, you're using side spin on shots, and you don't understand side spin yet. Eliminate it from your game until you can play what my buddy Tor would call center ball position. Center ball position doesn't mean you hit the cue ball dead center. It means you're either directly above or directly below that vertical line down the center of the cue ball. Follow shots, draw shots, stop shots. Remember? Stop using spin if you don't understand it. If you can't dunk a basketball on Monday, you can't dunk a basketball on Tuesday. Why, on league night, are you throwing all of this spin on shots that you weren't able to make on Sunday when you were playing with your friends? You're just messing up your position play with the use of side spin. There's a very interesting thing that happens when you put side spin on a shot. You have, I'm going to call it 2 accelerators, okay? For lack of a better word. And I just make up shit sometimes. But this is a good example. I want to play that 8 in the side. This is the shot without any side spin. I just roll this in, I bounce out, I'm on the 8 in the side. This is what I see too many intermediate and low intermediate players do. Oh, this is my chance to use some English, to use some spin. So they hit this ball, let's say with high left, and you see something that looks like this. Cue ball's all the way down table. Why? Because it's spinning this way and rolling off of this rail with all of that right-hand spin. This is a concept that if you don't have down, stop doing it in your matches, okay? We talked earlier about shooting the wrong balls first, or shooting them in the wrong order. This is a classic situation. Ball in hand. I see players put their ball in hand here and shoot this 15 ball, and then they shoot the 13 ball. They think they're going to get on the 14. The 8 ball is all the way down here. What are you doing? Take your ball in hand, put it where you can get to the balls that you are not going to get shape on if you don't have ball in hand. This is like an 8 or 9%er. What that means is only 8 or 9% of the table puts you on that 14 ball. So there, I take my ball in hand. Now, I'm going to do this almost blind, guys. When I say blind, I mean, I'm not playing position. I'm just shooting the ball in. Didn't even think about position play. And I'm on the 13. If I wasn't on the 13, I would have been on the 15. Now, these target-rich balls, you do not have to be good to make these balls. Here's your 3-rail position, by the way. Let's do this and play the 8 there, all right? If you don't have that shot, don't play that shot, all right? So that's going back a couple. Play the balls in the center of the table, not with your ball in hand. Leave them there. These are actually insurance shots, just like pocket hangers are insurance shots. I got on both of those shots without trying very hard at all, only because I made that 14 first. Take care of these balls that are on the rail, here, clusters, whatever. You're going to run more racks. It's that simple. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. And yes, there are a ton of other things I could have included in this video, but these are the ones that came to the top of my mind first as an instructor. Therefore, they are most likely the most common mistakes that people are making.